Hey guys, Gaming Off the Grid here. Do you like arcade gun games? You know the ones where you shoot the screen, you kill everything that is in your path? If so, you're going to want to stay tuned to today's episode. We're going to tell you how to bring that experience to your living room on none other than the Nintendo Wii. What are we drinking today?
Today we're drinking Taking Care of Business by Fallon's Brewery. It's an amber ale.
Every day. All right, you know the drill. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell icon so you never miss an upload. And sit back, relax, pour yourself a beer if you care to, and let's kill some things on the Nintendo Wii.
Why are they called Gaming Off the Grid? Do they live in a bunker? I mean, they say Gaming Off the Grid, but they upload videos, right? So they have internet? They do have internet. So do they live out in the country?
All right, if you've been following the channel for a while now, you know we love our light gun games. They are a great couch co-op experience, and they're honestly what helped us found this channel.
Yes, we love our Nintendo Wii because it can bring that arcade experience of light gun games into your living room, and it's so much fun.
It totally is, and in today's episode, we're gonna let you know how to accomplish that on the cheap for the Nintendo Wii. So, first off, you have to have a Nintendo Wii.
Yes.
That's kind of the starting point.
And most people probably have a Wii, or you can get a Wii for dirt cheap.
Yep.
We highly recommend the first gen with the GameCube ports, but that doesn't really apply to light gun games. So you can get whatever version of the Wii you want, just make sure it has a light sensor bar. And now, the most important part, the guns.
Yeah, so the guns we've been using, we recommend to everyone. If you've been watching the channel, you might already know this, is the Nyko Perfect Shot. This gun just feels great. The ergonomics of it is awesome. The weight of it, it just feels fantastic. It's got a port here in the bottom so you can hook the nunchuck in, which is important for some games. The light gun games, though, that we tend to like on the Wii don't require that.
Yeah, they're just handhelds.
Yeah, so because, you know, there was no nunchuck in the arcades, right? So, so you got the guns, you got the Wii. Now you're gonna need some games. And the first ones we want to talk about are among our favorite, and that is the House of the Dead games that you can get on the Wii.
Oh, we love the House of the Dead just in general.
Totally.
And these games are fantastic.
So, a very unique House of the Dead game, House of the Dead Overkill. It's kind of a spin-off of the series. It's a great departure from what House of the Dead had done prior to this. It's got a very Tarantino or Grindhouse film vibe to it. Very violent, very obtuse, very grotesque. I don't know what other words to use.
Messed up.
It is messed up. It'll throw you for a loop, but the gameplay is fun, and it's a great couch co-op.
And this game, honestly, is what started the channel, so we can't say enough good things about this game. And then the other House of the Dead game is House of the Dead 2 and 3 Return, which is just a collection of House of the Dead 2 and 3.
Yep, the arcade ports.
It is such a sweet collection.
It is, and for the value, you just can't beat it. There are a lot of House of the Dead fans that are not big fans of Overkill. If you fall into that camp, you'll find yourself right at home at House of the Dead 2 and 3, which we love both of these. So, all right, moving right along is another compilation by Sega, and it is the Arcade Hits Pack, which features Gunblade New York and LA Machine Gun.
Which is so cool. I've honestly never played these games in the arcade. I want to now, but dude, these games are so sweet. The graphics are very arcadey, they're very old school, kind of blocky, but the gameplay is sweet. What's really cool about these games is it's super easy. Anyone can play them because it's just a machine gun. You just hold the trigger and like move and aim and stuff. It's a sweet collection.
Yeah, absolutely. And these games don't take much of a time investment. Honestly, you can knock each one of them out in under an hour easily. The voice acting is really funny, and on the Wiimote, the mission control will talk to you and say,
on the Wii remote, and it's like, what did he say? I couldn't understand any word, but I love that Sega did this because if you're a fan of House of the Dead and the terrible voice acting, it's applied to this game as well.
And of the games we're going to cover in this video, this is one that if you see out in the wild, you definitely are going to want to grab because this one is a little more on the pricey side comparatively to the other ones that we're going to cover today. Moving right along is a game called Ghost Squad. It's another game by Sega. It is such an erroneous, cheesy light gun game.
It's like you're in the army and you're like trying to save the president, I think. I'm not 100% sure what you're trying to do, but it is very cheesy, very funny, but it's really kind of fun.
Yeah, I just like the diving guys, the diving bad guys.
Yeah, they just come out of nowhere and dive and shoot, and it's like, okay, you're dead.
Words to live by: aim, shoot, duck, reload. That's Ghost Squad. Right there, in a nutshell. So this game is a ton of fun. It's definitely one you need to pick up. It definitely isn't one to be taken seriously. Piss poor voice acting, very hokey, very cheesy, but if you're into that, which you might be if you're into light gun games anyways,
light gun games are all about
this is one that you need to play, and you can pick this up really cheap.
Now let's move on to some games that aren't traditional light gun games, but they're still really sweet. Let's start with a series that most people have heard of, and that is the Resident Evil series. Man, Resident Evil, first off, is incredible.
Yep.
So let's start with Resident Evil, The Dark Side Chronicles. Man, this game is awesome.
Of these two games, I kind of gravitate towards the Dark Side Chronicles. It just felt more like a traditional light gun game once you went into the settings and removed the nunchuck from the control scheme, which is something you might want to do if you just like that traditional on-rail shooting experience.
I know the Wii has a gun where you can have the Wii remote and the nunchuck in one unit, and that if you have that, maybe that's the way you play it, but we like playing with the Nyko. Just the single hand so we can have a beer in the other hand. And I really love this game because... Wait, do you smell that? It smells like a battlefield.
It smells like a battlefield.
But anyways, man, this game is so sweet. If you're a fan of the Resident Evil games, if you're a fan of light gun games, this is a must because it's so much fun. It's 2 players. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and these are definitely more story laden. They have better voice acting. They're more, like you said, in that Resident Evil universe than Ghost Squad. That type of thing.
And then there's another Resident Evil game called The Umbrella Chronicles. This one's still fun. I prefer Darkside Chronicles over it. This one is the same style, you know, very slow Resident Evil story, but Darkside Chronicles is the best out of the 2, I would say.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yep.
Now let's move on to Dead Space Extraction. This game is very unique, and at first it's kind of slow.
Yep. It takes a while to get into this one, and this is one that you can't completely abandon the nunchuck. So, is it a light gun game? Yes and no. That component to me, if you can't make it just an all-the-way on-rail shooter, I don't love that as far as a light gun game, but this game is really good.
It's really sweet. It's a very unique story that takes place in space, and you're like trying to figure out what's going on with the space station.
Yep.
The story's freaking sweet, and it plays well. The only gripe is the nunchuck, obviously, but I mean, if you like the nunchuck, you will love this game. And then moving on to another army game, going back to Ghost Squad. This one's a lot more serious though, is Heavy Fire Afghanistan.
Yeah, this game takes itself a little more serious. I would say this is like the SOCOM of the Wii light gun games. It's one of those games that kind of took me by surprise because just looking at it, it looks to me kind of like a budget title.
Yeah, it does.
But the game is a lot of fun, and if you're looking for that light gun experience, this would be like tier 2 of games to pick up. The first ones we went over are the ones that I think are must-owns, and then this would be kind of falling into that next category if you've beat all the other ones.
One thing I do want to say about this game is it's 1 to 4 players, so that's pretty freaking sweet. A 4-player light gun game, and there's 20 plus levels in this game, which is super cool because this is the longer light gun game, but it's really serious. So if you just want to have fun and like kind of joke around, maybe not play this one, but it's still really fun.
Oh, I think it's a great point though that you bring up how much longer that is, because a lot of these you can knock them out in one sitting, which is nice.
Which is why we love light gun games. So now let's move on to the beer. What do you think of this Taking Care of Rizness?
Yeah, it's a good easy drinking red or amber ale. Nothing crazy going on here. It's safe. I'm okay with it. I'm enjoying it.
It's a very middle of the road beer. It's a good like summer beer, outside beer. There's not much going on. The taste doesn't linger. It's a very simple beer. I do want to say thank you to the Frugal Gamer for hooking us up with this beer.
Absolutely.
We met him at GameCon, and he gave us this beer. And what's cool about this beer is it's a radio show in Missouri, I think, that is the sponsor of this beer. 105.7 The Point. So that's pretty cool.
This is kind of like the beer drinker's beer. I think it's very easy to drink.
I'm not a fan of amber ales, so like I wouldn't generally gravitate towards this, but like I feel like anyone would enjoy this. If you're not a fan of craft beer, this might be a good beer to try because it's right on the edge.
All right, if you're wanting to bring that light gun arcade experience to your home, to your game room, to your living room, you got to pick up the things we mentioned in this episode. You got to have a Wii, you got to have the Nyko Perfect Shot, and you got to start off with some of these games. I think if you start off with the House of the Dead games, the Arcade Hits Pack, Ghost Squad, and then maybe sprinkle in some of the others we mentioned towards the backside of this episode, you're going to be doing just fine in your light gun Wii collection.
Man, light gun games are so much fun. That's the best way to unplug, hang out with a friend. It's the best way to game off the grid.
It is, and ironic that you say that. I think a lot of these games were missed by people because the Wii was more geared towards families.
Yes, it was.
We run into a lot of hardcore gamers that are like, oh, I don't like the Wii. Hang on a second. Pump the brakes. Did you know about stuff like this?
Give it a chance.
Yep, so anyways, we always appreciate you tuning in and subscribing to the channel. Sit down with a friend, grab a beer, and enjoy some of these games we mentioned today. We're certain that you will have a good time. Keep gaming, keep drinking. We'll see you next time, right here on Gaming Off the Grid. Hey guys, Gaming Off the Grid here. Are you a fun person? Are you a fun person? Tell us right now.
What is fun?
It's pinball machines, joysticks, buttons clicking, and guns that you shoot. Kill them all! Today we are going to tell you a way to experience this at home on the Nintendo Wii.
The Wii?
Yeah. Hey guys, Gaming Off the Grid here. Do you remember a long time ago, in a land far away, arcades, you know, pinball machines?
Pinball machines.
Do you know the ones where you're shooting the screen, you're reload.
What the fuck?
All right, that's
Cha-cha-ching.